Yo, yo. Don't have a lot of time today, so I'm coming at you with a quick one. Just got off the phone with one of my boys who was consulting me whether to, how to handle his relationship. And at first, it seemed like they were going to move into a new place together. But by the end of it, I think it was pretty abundantly clear that he needed to make that hard decision and break up with his girl. And I'm honored and grateful to be able to play that role, to be a trusted confidant and consult for such a fine man. And I wanted to talk to you today about how I go about deciding whether to continue a relationship or whether to break up. Often it's super hard because as guys, I think we tend to, and I'm generalizing here, sweethearts, guys that have so much love and care and are emotional and bring all the best feelings in the world in a situation. And this applies to like a lot of my high achieving friends who are just dope as fuck as well, right? We care so much. So we're willing to take on a lot. We're willing to give in and accommodate and you know what? Like, we feel like it's no big deal because we can handle it. And if it's supposed to make this other person happy, we're more than willing to do it. But what ends up happening is we become the frog in the boiling pot. And at some point, there's a breaking point. And if there isn't, and if we keep just taking it, we end up getting locked into less than ideal situations. So what do I think about now that I have more clarity going through a lot of these experiences myself? First and foremost, what is the ideal future that you're working towards? As men, we have purposes. We have things that will require all of our ounce of energy, attention, focus, things that are going to take a lot out of us as we climb our proverbial mountains, right? That seeking of challenge and overcoming them and growing and contributing will never end because that's what fulfillment is. That's what giving our life meaning really means. So if a woman is going to come into our life and into the picture, is she about that? Does she understand that and what it takes to play that role in your life? Not everyone does. Maybe there's some people who want short-term things, or maybe some girl wants to find a simp. Everyone's entitled to their own life in pursuit of happiness. However, if you are remotely ambitious and you desire to have a life of abundance, full of experiences that are limitless, then you're going to have to work pretty hard and have people who are in your supporting cast that are all about it. What does it mean to be all about it? Maybe they can help you by, giving you specific help, knowing what you're doing, being your ally or your confidant, whatever you need, to have your emotional needs met, to be that source of comfort. Maybe you guys work alongside each other and there's synergies there. At the very least, this person needs to be able to give you the space and time that you require to be able to accomplish what you need to do or even explore. I don't know if we belong in a time now where people have that sense of duty, but like, I think women, when they saw their men go off to war, the ideal ones, the ones that were worth keeping, the ones that were wifey, are the ones that knew what you had to do for a greater purpose, for your country, for your people, and will wait for you. And even in less extreme situations, if you listen to Chris Rock's stand-up, he talked about his parents, and they belonged in a time where his dad got up before his mom, 5, 6 in the morning, and would come back at 10:30 at night because he had to make ends meet. And he said they would miss each other. There wouldn't be this squabble or expectation or demand of like getting his attention all day. One, because it wasn't available, but two, now that it is, people feel like they're entitled to that. And the unfortunate thing is, if that's become the norm, a lot of girls will think, oh, I can just get that elsewhere. Well, maybe, and maybe for a short time, because a lot of guys are willing to do some dumb shit and accommodate in the short run just to be able to get with you for a little bit. But then if the cost or all the effort required to actually be in a relationship with this person is so high, of course they're not going to take that person seriously. And then now you have a bunch of people running around, a bunch of girls saying like, where did all the good men go? When in reality, this is what's going on, right? So going back to the framework, is this person on board? Are they aligned with your future vision? Or is their future vision totally different? If it is, that's totally cool. Just don't expect that to change. Maybe you feel like they have the potential to change and adapt to the role that you'd want them to play in your life. And maybe they can, but it's a far stretch, because most of the time, people don't change unless they go through a very painful experience and they're required to change. So the change will often be short-lived, maybe a couple of days, maybe a week at most. And then there'll be more problems, because in both people's hearts, they grow more discontent and contempt for the other, because they feel like being with this person is coming at the cost of their own future and their own happiness, because they're being pulled in two different directions. If you're not growing together, you're obviously separating. It's totally okay to have different agendas. And if people truly loved each other and they realized that what would make that other person happy in the long run would be to attain that ideal future, then the best thing to do is to let them go out of love. As painful as that is the true definition of love right there. If you know that it's in the best interest of someone to be with someone else, you're essentially taking ego out of the equation. And you realize, you know what? I've experimented and experienced enough of this relationship to know I'm not he, him. I am he, him, but I'm not that guy. And she's not that girl. And that's okay. And nobody gets it right on the first try, or at least it's rare and rare. So just knowing that and keeping that in the back of your mind is okay. And forcing the issue isn't always the answer. Now, do people give up on relationships way too easily these days? Quite possibly. But if you've been in it for a while and you've really considered it seriously and explored future possibilities, and you're at this point and you're flip-flopping and you've done the pros and cons and it's still not a fuck yes, I think that's a clear indicator of your decision. So that's one big, I think, if not the most focal thing to think about, whether to stay in a relationship or break up. Let's leave it at that, because we don't have a lot of time today. But food for thought. Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever gave in and just kind of kept kicking the can down the road? What did you learn from your past relationships? What were the things that were the most valuable lessons that you bring forward today and into your future relationships? Would love to hear all of them below. Like, comment, subscribe. As usual, I appreciate you so much, and here to serve you in every single way that I possibly can. Peace. There's work done being in the house, so I gotta edit in the fucking bathroom. It's closer to the Wi-Fi. We need that extender. Hustling.